So I'm sitting on the couch the other day. Pass, 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 smash. When the TH-BJD from Resione, I hope that's how it's pronounced, dropped on Amazon, I had to buy it immediately. I've got a confession for you. I'm a long-time printed BJD hater. Don't get me wrong, it's not about the technology. I model my dolls myself in 3D, and it's not about other people's product. You know, I love the fact that 3D printed resin has made things so much better for hobbyists, right? We have artists who can get their products to market faster than ever before, and we also have more entry-level BJD hobbyists being able to access sculpts that they wouldn't have opportunities to otherwise. But when it comes to having them in my collection, I find myself constantly disappointed. In fact, a couple of years ago, I tried really hard to make what I would consider to be the perfect printed ball jointed doll. It was my brand new sculpt. I was really excited about her, and I worked really hard on getting some of the best products on the market, right? I used combination of ceria, I used combination of different ABS-like resins, and I even considered using a porcelain binder used for cast resin. It was pretty difficult, but I was able to print out a prototype that I was really excited about. And I even started filming a video about how excited I was for this combination resin I had mixed up. The color was great, the opacity was okay. I really thought that I was onto something great. And then I took her on vacation. I was able to take a bunch of great photos when we were out and about in Paris, and a slight wind blew and she face planted. Unfortunately, her head split in two. I'd never had this happen. None of my cast dolls had done it, so I didn't even anticipate it. Of course, it's not great when your doll face plants, but it's also not great when their head's shattered. Well, at least she got to see the Eiffel Tower before the Eiffel Tower saw her. Functionally, this ruined the prototype as well as the rest of the following photos. I was able to get some glue and kind of put it together and Photoshop some of it out, but by the time we got home, I pretty much had to throw her out, especially because I found myself unable to remix the same combination of resins. Really, that's one of my big complaints with using a mixed approach to resin. By mixing a bunch of different resins and colors, it makes it pretty difficult to repair them or replace parts, which was really unfortunate. So after that, I moved back to casting. I had tried to move out of casting dolls because it's a lot, let me tell you. Casting dolls is an incredibly fulfilling objective, but it's also a huge headache. Unfortunately, it's also one of the nightmares that keeps me up at night. Anyway, enough about dreams of mine that have died. Let's talk instead about Resione. I hope that's how you pronounce it. So, TH-BJD shows up at my doorstep just a couple days after it went live on Amazon, and I couldn't be more excited. I bought 1 kilogram bottle of cream pink. I could have unboxed this and made it some really nice footage to show you, but I was way too impatient to jump straight into printing. Look, I just had to test it. So into the soup it goes. My Anycubic Mono M5S Pro beeped away in my unfinished basement. Looks a little creepy, I know, until I had a doll. For this soup printed at 75 degrees Fahrenheit. I had a couple large pieces fail, but ended up having to replace the FEP, so I can't say if it was the resin or the printer. I will say, this resin is better if you don't overload the plate. The viscosity of the resin makes it suction a bit stronger. But do as I say, not as I do, because I printed my entire MSD on one plate and just reprinted when it failed. And look, a doll came out. I decided to go with a sculpt I've only produced a couple times, Aster. I like her little smirk. For a body, I did a modified version of my Mia and Cinna body. I just made her a little thicker in the middle, and I think a little less busty if I remember correctly, just to add in some variety. Then I got straight to sanding. I hate sanding. Honestly, guys, sanding is my biggest motivator to cast dolls, because then I can pay for someone else to do it for me. There are better people at it than me, both those who work for casting companies and also literally anyone else. People who sand dolls have more patience than I do, and I would absolutely do anything to avoid this. But that said, this resin sanded up really nicely. Really seemed to sand down quickly and shine up nice. After that, she got eyes and just a little bit of face painting. This resin holds paint really nice. It works with MSC just fine. I'm no professional painter, but I managed. I will say, if this was printed with this TH-BJD, I think a pro face-up artist would be happy with the canvas too. It really feels nicely like cast resin. In fact, when she was all assembled together, I noticed how similar she was to Fairyland resin and put her next to one of my Realfees. This is a 2023 or 2024 Realfee body in normal skin with a 2017 head. You can tell the head is a little yellow, but compared to the body, the cream pink is an excellent match. Aside from having great surface finishing, let's talk about where this resin really shined. Joint dusting? I don't know her. Here's a comparison next to a doll I just printed in Elegoo ABS Slake 3.0. Now, she's tan, so it's a little bit more visible, but by comparison, you'll see that there's no dusting on the Resione TH-BJD. Honestly, it's like comparing a fresh donut to one that's been left out for a day. You know, they're both so good, but you just know. No dusting is my number one want in a resin, so I couldn't be more pleased. I have to be honest, I love this girl. I think she looks really fantastic. I couldn't be happier with the resin on this print. So final thoughts. I had a little bit of frustration, admittedly, getting this printed. I did have a couple failures, but it may have been my FEP because once I changed it, she worked great. For pros, there's no dusting at all. I cannot overstate how happy this makes me. There's none. Like, I can play with her and there's no dusting. They come out clear and fresh and really opaque looking. I truly think that it captures detail better than some of the other resins that I've used, like Elegoo ABS or some of the Syria resins. For sanding, the parts cleaned up so nicely. Nubs sanded down really fast, and they gave a very high quality finish with relatively little investment. Remember, I hate sanding, so anytime I can kind of skimp, I'm all about it. The color cream pink looks awesome. It looks so nice next to Fairyland resin. I think you could even use it as a direct from bottle match if you were trying to hybrid. The opacity of this resin is really outstanding, just super impressive. It truly resembles a high quality cast. I'm also fairly certain that should I try to take this doll on vacation with me, she probably won't unexpectedly turn into a Parisian jigsaw puzzle. So that's always a benefit. I'm really not sure I could be more pleased with the TH-BJD resin. The only cons I can really think of is the viscosity does mean that per volume you get a little bit less. Also, the price point is a little bit high, and the only colors that are currently on the market are the cream white and the cream pink. As far as I'm aware, Resione does not recommend tinting the resin, but I'm interested to try it in the future anyway. Unfortunately, because the colors are only cream pink and cream white, there's not a really good tan option on the marketplace. However, I wouldn't despair yet. I have been talking to Resione about the possibility of them adding a tan color to their lineup. I'm really excited about what the future might hold. You know, I'm manifesting this into reality, lighting a candle, making a vision board. I think we can get there. Now, personally, I'm more than happy to pay for the perfect resin for a finalized prototype. I'll likely continue to use low-end resins by prototyping with something like water washable, which I find much cheaper in the long run to clean up. I can test out my joints and then save the TH-BJD for only finished products that need to look really great and high quality when I'm truly happy with the sculpt. Honestly, I know that if I want a high quality finished piece, there's nothing I'd rather use than this TH-BJD resin. I feel like I finally have an option for something that I can print that will truly rival a cast quality dowel. I'm really excited about that, especially since for the foreseeable future, I won't be offering any pre-orders. I hope that if you're in the same predicament where you really want a high quality resin for a printed dowel, you'll also try Resione. I just want to say that even though I'm really excited about this Resione resin, I'm not sponsored. And when I recommend it to you, it's because it's truly the product that I'm going to use. And I want other people to know about it too. I haven't been compensated, and though I have been in communications with them about future products, I haven't received anything to make this video. So, if you enjoyed this, drop a like and subscribe. Helps me justify keeping my printers running. Plus, it might even be the dopamine hit I need to get some of the other videos that I have stuck on my hard drive finished and onto YouTube. I've got more ideas coming up, so I hope you stay tuned.